All right, 2015 Accord had a P0303. Well, as you may or may not know, this is a direct injection engine, gasoline direct injection engine, 2.4 Earth Dreams. So the P0303 says there's a misfire on cylinder number 3. I did everything I know how to do. I'm not a pro. I'm a garage guy, probably like most of you. Adjusted the valves, changed the spark plugs, checked the coils, made sure that those, swapped those as needed to see if I could change the cylinder misfire to a different cylinder. Didn't work. So basically, in short, what I decided is that I must have a bad injector. Whether or not I do, I guess I don't really know. But I checked all my fuel trims. I checked all the, I did a cylinder compression test. I mean, I did everything possible. I don't have a professional tool, but I did everything I could to narrow it down. Didn't do a fuel pressure drop down test or whatever. Fuel injector drop down test either. Couldn't do that. So went online, found about as much as I could find out about it, and determined that a lot of people have been having problems with injectors as well. So in case you're not familiar, this is a fuel injector, direct injection fuel injector. It's got a long little tip here, no O-ring style seal at the end. This tip here goes into the cylinder, sealed by, I believe that's some sort of Teflon seal. I'm not really sure. The camera's not good enough to pick up the little injection holes, but anyway, so I didn't have the money for Honda brand injectors, and quite honestly, they didn't do me much good anyway. Apparently, I only got about 90,000 before I started having a problem. This is these are Beck Arnley replacements. I put the old retaining clip back on because there's a height difference on this stem. Forgive me, again, I'm not a good YouTuber. Fuck, I don't know how to do it. But anyway, hold on. Here we go. You can see the difference. Now, normally I would just roll with it, but the fuel rail, it's got these little slots where that tab on the injector goes, and I think it's too tall because the stock one fits almost all the way in there. So I'm not risking putting the injectors in and having it too long. I have to pull them all out. They're not exactly easy to pop in or out. The injectors have a little, like a circlip, a retaining clip here that you push it in hard, and that compresses just a little bit so it's sealed or it's retained in there. So that's kind of a pain in the ass to push in or pull out. Anyway, I guess what I failed to do at the beginning of this video was let you guys know what the issue was. About 90,000 miles, which is about 50,000 ago. So yeah, I've been dealing with this for 50,000 miles. Wife broke down on the side of the freeway, calls me, says, hey, stuck on the freeway. The lights all came on. I had kind of a stutter as far, well, I guess she'd been having the stutter a little bit as she hits the gas under load. Sitting there at idle, revving it up, there's no issues, but she started going up a grade and had it's kind of a stutter, and that kind of lasted, and finally I guess it caught up to her and she broke down. At the time we didn't know you could have just shut the engine off, just restarted it and kept going on your way. Maybe just be a little more easy on the throttle. She's got a lead foot. Don't ask me how many tickets she's gotten. Anyway, so I do everything I can, diagnose it. I can find anything, nothing. I don't know if Honda's trying to somehow, conspiracy theory, suppress some info about their engines, but I know that this is an early style GDI for Honda. They don't do any port injection to clean the back of the injectors. So my cylinder 3, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this at all, but this is cylinder 3, and the injectors, or excuse me, the valve, back of the valves. If I said injectors earlier, I meant back of the valves. They don't spray down the back of the valves to clean them off, so they get all nasty. Now, as a regular dude, I don't have some sort of walnut blaster or whatever, but this is what this is the cleaned. I clean these. This is the final cleaning. I just hope none of the carbon I couldn't get or that accumulated when I was doing my best to clean it doesn't fall in there and fuck up the engine. But at this point, what's the difference, right? It's failing every other time we drive it. It's ready to go into limp mode. Anyway, so there's a pile of shit that I used to kind of clean it. I had on the end of a drill extension, I got this thing, put it on my little 1/4 inch impact driver, stuck it down there, and did the best I could to clean the valve stems in the back of the valves. So I'll just spin that in there and hope for the best. Use the air to blow out the gunk, and then just hit it with some carb cleaner. And now I'm at the point where I need to put the fuel injectors back in, put everything back together. So my big thing to tell you on this is, when you go to clean your valves, the back of your valves, make sure you're putting your cylinders, your valves, closed. And the way you can do that, you can just rotate the engine. I had a long extension I put all the way through on the end of a 19mm socket. It goes all the way down in there. I don't know if you can see it, but attaches to the crank pulley. Rotate the engine. Wait for these cam lobes to face up. That way you know there's no pressure on your valve. This isn't hard. It's just that when you've got your spark plug still in, and you have your fuel injectors in, you get a lot of compression, and so it's harder to turn. But with the fuel injectors out, turn no problem. Anyway, so this cylinder 3 is closed. This one is open, closed, possibly on the way to being open. But anyway, make sure you do that so nothing falls into your cylinder, and blow it out good. Use carb cleaner if you can. It gets messy though. I just held a towel over the port when I hit it with the air to blow it out. All this, by the way, all this oil here, I believe, is from, I guess, a bad valve cover gasket, but I don't know. The valve cover, walk with me. The old valve cover, it's kind of shitty actually, the style of this. On certain ones you can change those valve stem seals, or excuse me, the spark plug seals, but on this California model I guess you can't. I don't know, I can't even find a valve cover where you can change your seals, so I had to buy a new valve cover from Honda for that was $160 when you go through Honda e-store or e-store parts, Honda or whatever it is. It's your PCV valve, in case you weren't aware. I'm not really sure how it works because it doesn't look like any PCV valve I'm familiar with. So anyway, I'm going to swap this because I did try changing the PCV valve to fix this oil leak. I really don't know where the oil could be coming from. This seems like it's formed inside there, but anyway, it's a different topic. You guys probably don't care too much about that, but I'll be changing the valve cover as well. Before I close it up here, I gotta think of anything else you might be interested in knowing. Oh, I guess taking the fuel rail off, there's some bolts, and then there's also some mounting studs, some locating studs. So most of them are bolts that go in there, but a couple of them have these studs, so they're all 10mm, and these are probably just for alignment and indexing of the fuel rail. But once all those are off, you can just get a pry bar and pry very slightly against the edge of your intake port here and just pop them off. But try to do it as straight as possible, because with the stock injector, when I was pulling them off, the little brown little O-ring, it's hard. It's not a supple material. It's hard. I think it's just a retaining clip of some sort for the silicone O-ring. But anyway, you can possibly see how it's a little bent. Well, I didn't take it off straight, so won't focus. Anyway, there you go. When I didn't pry it off straight, so it kind of wrenched upward and bent it and cracked one of the other ones. So even if I wanted to just put the injectors back in after hitting them with a resistance check, I couldn't. Not only that, I couldn't find just this piece anywhere. You could find a whole kit from Honda of new O-rings and this little, I don't know what the hell this is underneath it. It's some sort of a bushing or something, I don't know. You can buy this one down here, the compression one. Yeah, that focuses better. You can buy the little black one there and the orange one on Honda for 129 bucks if you want OE stuff. Anyway, I don't know what else I can tell you. I'm going to put it all back together. I'll see if I can splice the final product and give you guys an update. See if it solved my problem. But really what I'm hoping for is to get this in a condition where I can hand it down to my daughter and get my wife a new car when these prices come down. She's been bugging me for a while, and she's a good woman, so I guess I'll spend a few bucks and get her a new car. I don't know which one yet, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, guys, hit me up in the comments if there's anything specific you want to know that I didn't cover. Again, I'll give you one little final view in case you have an engine like this, you're not sure how the mechanics of it all are. But there's your port for your fuel injector. It's right down the middle of each intake port, right there. All right, adios.